Okay. Welcome back to my channel. Hey loves, it's been a while, but I'm finally here and here to answer a question that I have been seeing on my comments, and it is how to approach men at a strip club. And I have the special guest, Miss JoJo here, which I'm very, very happy to have. She's like so genuine, so awesome. She's never faked on me, and I'm so happy that she came to like share her side of what to do in the strip club as well, because if anyone doesn't know, JoJo helped me so much in the club.
Oh my god, we haven't seen each other.
She was like my manager and my trainer and everything combined, and she did it so genuinely and like flawlessly without even question, and I appreciate you for that so much. And she's awesome, like she can do everything. Like she was doing, what is the thing that you were doing on with the ropes? What is it called?
Aerial silks and the aerial hoop, or it's called a lyra sometimes.
She did the silks and the hoop and the pole perfectly. Like she was the star of the show, and for her to be just so genuine, knowing how good she can perform, is just everything to me. So I'm so glad I have her here with me today.
She spoils me.
And then we also doing a mukbang. So I have some seafood in here. She has some shrimp. She's gonna go late today, it's okay. And I have some shrimp, mussels, and a snow crab leg. And then we're gonna go dig it all in and talk about how to approach men in the strip club. So let's get it in.
All right,
ready to eat? It's just, you know, it's a laid back video. I actually haven't had a Hook&Reel mukbang in so long.
What do you have then?
I haven't had a mukbang at all in so long, to be honest. So I have napkins for us. Bibs if you want to use it.
Bibs. Oh my god, that might be necessary. We're gonna see how it goes.
Okay, so I was contemplating and I was thinking, like, should I go first with what I have to say, or should she go first? But I think it should just be like a conversation type of thing.
Sure.
You know, just let it spill on naturally. I actually have, as you guys know from my channel, have a very short experience with the club. I worked there like I think 4 months before.
Listen, you're not giving yourself enough credit. That's like basically an eternity.
You think?
In stripping time. Yes.
That makes me feel so good, because I was just like, I don't know how they do it. Like, not like taking anything off of you guys, but I personally couldn't really do it.
That's a lie. She was so fabulous, please.
Shut up.
She is very modest.
I am, yeah. Me and my friend Diamond was talking about modesty today. She's over there.
Hey y'all.
Say hey. Okay, so yeah, I was very modest, but it's a lot more than people think before they get into it.
Well, yeah, I feel like on social media, like on TikTok especially, there's like way too many videos of strippers being like, you know, talking about a very particularly easy night they had and acting like that's the norm. You know, like, oh, my regular just dropped $1,200 on me and walked away. Like, I love Tuesdays.
Exactly. Or like, oh my god, I just made this much, and it's like, oh my god.
It balances out so like weirdly perfectly. It balances out your good nights and bad nights to like a very consistent average. Like I actually, at this point, I've worked almost as long at Penthouse in Baltimore as I did at Millstream.
You did? Really?
Yeah. Like, I mean, when we met, I had only been there for a few months, and I ended up doing like almost exactly 6 months there. And since then I've been at Penthouse, and I have like a spreadsheet where I track like average per day of the week, average overall.
That you work?
Like what I make at each given shift, and like for how many hours I was there and all of that. And would you believe, for how much I love Penthouse, my overall average on a night is within $3 of Millstreams.
So that's the only difference? A $3 difference? Is that what you're saying?
Like overall.
Really?
Yep, it's the same as. It's worth $763 a night wherever it is.
I think that it goes down to be honest, is how you feel at a club, not how much money you make. And I feel like everyone like bases on when they get to a club with how much money they make, but I think it's more so how you're gonna feel there, because that was my cue. Was how I was feeling, not so much how I was making. So so yeah, this topic is funny because I struggled so much on what to say to these men, JoJo.
Well, listen, they go to these places, especially Millstream, they go to these places because they cannot talk to women. So you have to pull all of the weight. You have to go to them.
But then, like, their body structure and their aura and, like, what they say, sometimes it intimidates you. And sometimes you feel like...
Oh, and they're scary. Like, the things that they will say.
They're scary. And then that was really, JoJo, that was one of my biggest things, was what to say to these guys. Really. And I don't know, I would watch YouTube videos, I would watch what other like girls were doing and saying, but I think my biggest thing was
this is delicious.
What brings you out here tonight? That's like my biggest thing. That was my biggest go-to. I didn't know what else to say.
I wasn't even thinking about that, but like that's a very common starting point, especially if there's a group of people. You know, what are you celebrating tonight? What's the special occasion tonight?
That's a good one, because when you say what brings you out here tonight, it's kind of like, duh, it's a strip club. Like,
you're here to
I'm
see
coming
the ladies.
to the girl.
Yeah, but sometimes they'll out themselves as being a cheap pervert, and they'll be like, I'm just here for the drinks. Or I'm just here to watch the game.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then you can stop wasting your time right away. And just like get out of there, because you're not going anywhere with that.
And I'm telling you, ladies, you have to learn what is gonna like get you out the way of that conversation, because the more you sit with a man, the more money you lose, depending on if they're gonna contribute to you or not. And if they're gonna say that they're there for the game, walk away, because they're not gonna pay you. They're not there for you, obviously.
Right. And that's every time that we're gonna say like just walk away from so and so, that's like implying it's busy enough to do that. Like we've seen some slow nights
where you're gonna have to sit with someone and talk to them forever about something you're not interested in, just to get a little dollar or something.
Yeah, and I've seen that turn into a room or something after a while.
Surprisingly, it can turn into a room, but on a busy night,
you can't
do that, because the more hours that you got talking to this one person, that is gonna take them hours to pay you. It's gonna take this person like $300 to pay you in like 30 minutes. So you're gonna miss out on that. But I think my biggest conflict was definitely what to say to them, and then not only what to say, because starting the conversation is kind of easy when you think about it, but like going on with the conversation was hard for me, because I'm someone that can only connect with people that like my soul connects with, like energy wise and stuff. And these men were just like, so
you push through.
I really couldn't like mesh with them.
Are you
some guys that came in, I can mesh with them so easy, but it was rare. But most guys that came in, I couldn't, and I didn't know what to do, and I'm just like, I'm just supposed to sit here pretty and blah blah blah, but they still act very awkward, and I didn't know how to like act unawkward.
Yeah.
And that was my hard thing. Was it hard for you, or how did you deal with that?
As of recently, I've started like playing games.
Is that really recent to you? Because you were like a god to me in the club. I was just like, she knows how to do everything in and out.
That's
like,
so cute.
Is that really recent to you?
I mean, I'm just thinking like off the top of my head, like this past week, I've found myself, if I'm like, so-and-so is like, okay, we're gonna do a room after I finish this beer or whatever. I'm like, all right, I will wait another 5-6 minutes for this guy to finish his beer.
Right.
I can make this work. And then if I'm really struggling for conversation, I'll be like, let's play 2 truths and a lie. And a lot of them don't know what that is. So that's like,
something you have to sit there and explain.
Sit there and explain, and then you kind of learn something about each other, and it can kind of spin off into other things. Like if you say it's true that I won a contest for reading children's books, and I won because I read a really funny book about a farting dog. They never believed that part's true, but sure enough, one guy wanted me to read him that story in a room for money.
Shut up! Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say something like, you made up a thing where it's like, is it true that I want to jump your bones right now? And then they're like, yeah, and they're like, yeah, it's true. And
oh, well.
Like, oh, well, I want a room.
That's a dangerous line that I really, because like some guys, they really fully expect extras and they think that that's the norm, and they'll gaslight you into thinking that that's normal. And there's always a risk of, there's always a safety risk. Like, no, I mean, at Millstream, I didn't realize how dangerous it was, but like, they will not hear you scream from behind any of those like doors.
Shut up.
Of course they will. Like, the owner's suite is behind 2 doors. Like, in a loud club.
I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of that scenario. That's what I'm coming from.
I've not heard of a place that was that secluded. Their rooms were that secluded. I just started at this place in Philly.
That's scary.
I've been going, well, I did my first shift at Club Risque in Philly this past Friday night, and their high-end rooms, the champagne rooms that go by a half hour at a time, are literally just like a hallway where there's couches, like a little love seat on each side, and like a beaded curtain in front of the couch. Mm-hmm. And the entire time there's like traffic back and forth in front of the curtain. There's, you know, like bartenders are bringing drinks, and like people are getting picked up and like sitting back down and all that. So, you know, that's more standard, I think. Like the more time goes by, I'm realizing like, oh yeah, safety is a thing. So, circling back. Right, so like if you talk a big game about how much you want to bang a guy or whatever, like, and then they start to think that's gonna happen, it's a good way to sell the room initially, but you risk them like throwing a fit if they don't get what they want.
Wow. So, I didn't think of it that way.
Very true. You know?
I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah. You could, though, be a little more mysterious and be like, because they're inevitably going to be like, you know, what happens in the back room, baby? Like, you can be like, you'll find out when you get there. You know, you can be like, you'll find out when you get there, babe. Like, it's a hell of a dance. You're not promising anything.
Yeah.
You're not using any words.
Seriously, ladies, take this in consideration if you're thinking about, you know, joining, being a stripper and stuff like that. Like, your mouth sells. Like, it's your fantasy that's selling these men, and you are in control of it. So you're in control of what you provide after that big sell you had with your mouth. You're in control of everything, and your mouth and what your fantasy, you know, tells to these men is what's gonna get them the room, and then it goes on from there.
And look, as a standard, they usually, and they should be satisfied with like just merely being in your presence in a private space. Like, that's what they're paying for, and that is a privilege. I don't remember where I was going with that, but like,
no, that makes a lot of sense.
They
like,
should
merely being in your presence. Like, some men just need feminine energy, and some men just need like women that is gonna just look pretty and listen to you, because they might not have it at home, sadly to say. So, you know, that's something that they're willing to pay for. This is one thing that I did learn. Don't misjudge what they're willing to pay for. That's one thing I learned. I was like, oh my God, like if I don't do this, like they're not gonna pay as much. But literally, men would pay for you to just sit there and stare at them. Like, men will pay for you to sit there and like, move your hands in their hair. Like, little things, but you don't think that, and because you don't think that, you do more than what you have to, and more than what you even want to do in sad cases, and it didn't have to be that way. Men would pay. Just try to do that talk game before you do the walk game, basically. Yeah, that's a big tip. Like, try to sell them a fantasy, because in reality, this is all a fantasy, and these men don't really know us, so it doesn't even matter. and try to sell them the fantasy that you can develop in their brain to want them to get you a room. And then when you're there, try to sell them even more fantasy to want you to get with them the next time they come and the next time they come. And you don't have to do anything. I'm trying to think of another thing that I was struggling with. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question, and my question is...
Diamond has a question.
And my question is, how do you tap into your sexuality as a feminist? Because Miss Lady over here gives me feminine to feminine.
I always got style.
But Sephra is very, she's the opposite of that. So I want to know the two opposites.
What opposite of what?
The feminist energy.
Okay.
Tap into it.
Well, I will say I seem to just naturally attract a lot of submissive men. Not always, but a lot of them.
But you're so dominant, that's why. And a lot of men that are submissive want to be dominated.
Yeah.
And JoJo, let me tell you, very dominant. Very independent, very you can't fuck with me. And she has all the moves, so what else is another stripper gonna show? Because she has all the moves.
If you just demonstrate brute strength on stage, just whip out some pull-ups,
She can do so much, it's insane. It's just beautiful. You can watch her all day.
You're so cute. Stop it.
But okay, so what was the question? Well, were you?
Oh yeah,
how do you tap into your sexuality?
I mean, it doesn't take much. In very tangible ways. There's a boxing match next door. So, for example, if I'm doing a lap dance, we're talking about during a lap dance.
Just the whole experience of the club. How you tap into your sexuality?
I mean, okay, just talking to somebody like a customer, physical contact, little things scratch their head, touch their neck, touch their arm. Maybe if they're sitting down in a lower seat, not at the bar, at a stool, you can just walk up and stand directly between their legs and lean over and put your hands on their shoulders are you being entertained? Or something,
Girl.
So and that goes such a long way.
It goes such a long way. I wasn't doing that. I remember when I wasn't doing that at first, and I seen everyone else doing it, and I was fuck it, this one night, and I was I'm gonna be touchy as Philly as fuck tonight. Double the money.
Yes.
Really, be touchy Philly. Men are scared to show that they want that. They're scared to tell you that they want that attention because they're intimidated or whatever the case may be. But when I started touching people's shoulders and their leg, it makes such a big difference. So that's another tip. Be touchy-feely. Touch their shoulders, touch their leg, lean up against them hi, how are you? Let them smell you. Let them see a little ass. Just be very out there, and
don't let them touch you.
Yeah, but it shows it's a big difference.
Yeah, and if I'm really feeling myself, I'll I say that I don't do that every fucking night, but I'll sit down next to a guy and make a big show of putting my leg over their lap.
I was about to say you're flexible with it, don't you?
She's so flexible.
But the drama of the 8-inch heel going all the way up and just cascading down on across their leg. I'm not sitting on them. We're still trying to sell that because that costs money. But just rest their leg on their lap, rest your leg on their lap, and
so a lap dance is non-touching?
No, lap dance is touching, but we're just talking about because you have to sell the lap dance.
Right.
So you're
we're talking about when you're on the floor before they even
right, this is in the process.
Agree to a lap dance.
Right.
And what you have to do.
Right, because you have to approach them and start, you have to have a little foreplay.
This is the approach. This is how I'm selling my lap dance.
Exactly.
This is the foreplay.
Okay, heard.
This is the foreplay. But tapping into your sexuality, what do you think it would be?
I mean, I'm thinking of all the physical stuff. Also, turning around and looking at your butt and then looking at them is goes along.
Did you hear that, Diamond?
Listen.
She said turning around and looking at your butt and then looking at them.
So admiring yourself first. And
exactly.
Then she said that though.
But that's a good, you know, that's a really good thing to think, like, admiring what you love about yourself before you can have someone else criticize you. Like,
yeah.
That's amazing. That's a big women empowerment type of thing. Like, in the strip club, you can be very insecure in the strip club. I think you can be very insecure in the strip club. Sometimes you'll be like, oh my god, like everyone else is making money but me.
That is all in your head.
It is all in my head. I felt like that countless of times, but then what everyone said was like totally different from how I felt. I felt like, oh my god, everyone's making all the money but me, like what's wrong with me? But then everyone like, oh my god, you're so bad, your body is so nice. I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get why I get all the compliments but I'm not making any money. But I don't think it's about that. It's just about, it's about a lot of, everything contributes to that. I think it's about the area you're in, the clientele that comes in the area that you're in and what they're looking for. I think it contributes to like what, how long you were working there, because I feel like you have to learn the ropes of stripping. You can't just like go in there and then you be pretty and flirt. You have to know the ropes. There's work, there's ropes, and like there's like things you have to learn. I learned that though. There's things you have to learn about how to get money there. You can't just be pretty and you can't just like flirt and know how to flirt.
Fun fact, you can sell so much. Like you can sell so much more than a lap dance or your time or whatever. Cause like, well, first of all, you can make money from lap dances and like, you know, people throwing money at you on stage or whatever.
Yeah.
You can also, if somebody doesn't want to do a room, which many of them genuinely do want to just like sit with you at the bar and talk, charge them for that time. You know, like, I've also, since I've been at Penthouse, I've been selling random other services. Like a guy, there's like a bachelor party and they're all wearing like white t-shirts and they came with Sharpies. And they were one of the girls to draw on them. And I was like, all right, I'll make you a real sick drawing for $20. And you know, that's something. And then like somebody wanted me to draw like a little face tattoo on them with some eyeliner. And that was $60.
Shut up. Yeah. You charged $60 and
he volunteered it.
What?
I was like, I have no idea what I should. He was like, what do you think this will be? I'm like, I don't know. And he just pulled out $60. People are crazy.
And the thing is, it's like, for him it was like a stripper drew this on my shirt. You know what I mean? We don't look at it that way because we're like, oh, I'm just like a regular old person. I'm just drawing something. How does that worth $60? But for him, it's like, a stripper drew this. And people have this big persona about strippers, like we're just like this, like big beings that are just.
Don't tell them that we're real people.
Don't tell them we're real.
That's a secret.
We have real life shit going on.
It's gonna ruin everything.
The craziest thing. It's so crazy. But that's what I was thinking. I was like, I know these men would pay so much for these things, but I didn't get it. And I wasn't using that ability that I knew like they would pay for it, but I wasn't using it because I still didn't get it. And I was like, there's no way they're gonna pay for this, or there's no way he's gonna want to pay this much. And I remember this one time, because you're gonna get crazy different things at the strip club. You're gonna get crazy offers about things. I remember this one time, this guy wanted to buy my underwear. Do you remember that?
Oh,
day?
I sold my underwear.
Exactly. And I told you, I told the other girls, I was like, oh my god, this guy want to buy my underwear. What should I do? They were like,
I think I know who it was.
They were like, just do it, but do this, blah, blah, blah. I've done it before. You got to do it. Like, they were showing me how to do it. And
did you autograph it?
The money. No, but the thing that shocked me the most is how much money he was willing to spend.
How much?
Like $500 to take my underwear off.
No way. Like for the, just to do
Just
that?
to take my underwear off of me.
Did you do it?
And have it. No.
How did I not hear about this? This is so cool.
But I swear you were there. I swear you were there that night.
What's that classic movie, Pretty in Pink, where they were in the, I believe it was Pretty in Pink or 16 Candles, mistake me if I'm wrong.
It might be.
But they paid for the girls' panties, and it's like a bathroom scene. Oh my God.
Oh, wait, where the guy pops out and goes, yeah, I know the one, I know. I feel like they stole those.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did not, she was not compensated.
No. But still at all.
The moral to the story is that you would never realize how much money someone would spend on you. And I was sleeping on that so hard because I just didn't understand why someone would pay this much for something so simple to me, but they really would. And that's just another thing is, another advice is that don't sleep on like how much money someone's willing to spend. If someone offers something, don't back down it and be like, oh no, like, I was big on this. They would say a money amount and I'll be like, oh no, you don't have to do that much, because I wanted to act humble, because I was humble.
Never act surprised at a...
But never act surprised. They're more scared of you than you are to them. That's a big
Right, they're hoping you'll agree. Like,
yeah. And they put you to that standard already, that you're already okay. That's not you know what, that's not enough. That's the energy that they are looking for, which is funny. But I was so modest, and I would just be like, oh no, not that much, it's okay. And it fucked me up so many times. So don't do that if you're starting. Like, just go with the flow with what they want to spend, but even that, go and then some. Like, be like, oh well, that's not enough, I'm worth blah blah blah, and just play them out, because they don't know. And then you don't know how much they're willing to spend on you because you're like this exotic person that they're not used to. So you're really a prize to them, really. And I slept on that a lot.
So I have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
For my two petite mommies, you have one that's small and tall and slim, and you have another one that's short and petite. How do you manage that in the club without being discouraged about what you look like? Deep, ain't it?
There were so many different shapes and sizes, I think, in the movie.
Yes. Everybody gets celebrated.
Yeah.
By somebody. And like, I've seen so many like different shaped women. There was a girl who was 6'3" before the heels. So she wore 7-inch heels. I don't know where she found size 13 7-inch heels. It was crazy. She'd be walking around 6'10", and she made bank because people would obviously notice her and like just be drawn to her. Like, having that kind of niche market goes a long way. There was I've seen dancers who were, 300 pounds, and they did incredibly as well because they owned it and they were so sexy. Yes. And people just loved it.
I've seen heavy girls that owned the shit out of that pole, and it was just like,
they can move.
I think
and
you
they
have to be
smell
yourself.
great, like they just doll up. Oh my god.
For sure. And that's another point that I'm happy you said that, is that don't be discouraged about your weight or like how you look and how you think strippers are supposed to look. If you want to do it, because at the same time, we're all human, and everyone has their own like liking, has their own perception, and like pick on who they like. What's the word? There's a word for it. Like, everyone has their own idea of who they like and their own fantasies. They might like a skinny girl, and they might like a big girl, they might like a short girl, they might like a tall girl. Everyone has their own thing. A stripper isn't supposed to look like one thing.
Right.
And you'll be surprised on what they would spend on, for sure. So don't like be discouraged about like how you look or anything.
Right.
When it comes to the strip club,
you just need to at least fake confidence, and you're good.
So you make it, huh?
Act like you're the shit.
I think confidence is like the biggest advice when it comes to talking to men, how to start out with being a stripper and all that, is confidence. Confidence is key. Just be confident. No matter how you look, be confident, and you're gonna get that room, and you're gonna get the money on the stage and all of that. Everything's gonna come to you when you're confident.
I had some other like just one-liners and ideas from like how to approach men. Something I just remembered that I didn't put on the list I do every time is so I feel like some of the hardest people to approach are the ones who are like really enthralled by the stage. You know, like that's a great thing to be. You definitely, that's better than the guy who's glued to the TV. He's kind of hopeless. But if somebody's really like enthralled by the stage, it can be hard to get their attention. So I'll just sit next to them and be like, can I watch with you? You know,
I didn't think of that one.
We just sit and like admire whoever's on stage. I've had guys, I literally sit in silence with these guys, and then they end up spending money on me somehow.
Yeah,
so, like,
because they kind of like grow a trust with you throughout the night, I guess. I'm guessing.
Didn't
think of that one.
That's a good
That was a good one.
I also had so something at Penthouse specifically, I don't know how many other places do this. We have table dances where like most of the tables around the club are pretty low to the floor, and they're big, so you can just like get on top of it and perform. And it costs $30 a song, but it's just like a good way to make money because people would, you know, it's for groups, they'll just like throw ones.
But you have that in Penthouse. That would have been awesome.
I know, right? It's so lit. So something
that would have been awesome.
But this can kind of translate. So I will, at the end of the night, I'll go up to a table of guys and be like, I noticed there's a serious lack of naked women on your table. What gives? Did you want to fix this? And
that's a good one.
That actually, I mean, their eyes widen. They're like, you're right.
That's a great one, actually.
Yeah, and you can translate that even if you don't do table dances. It could be, there's a serious lack of hot women, you know, in this,
and let's go
in this area.
Let's go in between what JoJo's saying. Like, have a sense of humor at the strip club.
Oh, yeah.
Have a sense of humor. Like, they don't always want you to be, like, all strong and sexy. Like, have a sense, when you're funny and you can make someone laugh, it goes such a long way. Such a long way.
I also have on my list, sit down with a guy, especially if you would like notice each other when you're on stage. Make eye contact with as
oh
many
my
people as
god,
possible
make
on
eye
stage.
contact when you're on stage.
It is so, I mean, like, it is objectively just sad if you're on stage. This is what you see all the time, is dancers who are clearly unhappy and they're just on stage like just looking up here, you know what I mean, just like,
or looking at the floor, or like just looking at themselves, or looking in the mirror the whole time.
Right. I mean, if you're feeling yourself and you're smiling or something, like maybe that's different. Like, make eye contact with the customer. So
yeah, that's a big one.
Sit down with somebody and say, all right, I'm here. What's your second wish?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's goofy. You can't be that serious about it, but it's cute.
That's a good one.
And variations on, you know.
Oh, I wish I could have took that one. Do I
just
time?
saw it like on Instagram a couple weeks ago.
Do I have time to go back and steal that one?
Yes. Yes. I like to ask
I
if
like that one. Still thinking about that one.
Corny.
What's your second wish? Cause
let's see. Are you being properly entertained? You know, variations on like if you're, you know, really just cut to the chase and selling a room, like did you need company? What kind of, did you need an expensive friend?
Or like, how can I service you? Like what?
Oh, that sounds a little, but yeah, that works too. It'll get them thinking. I have a whole subcategory of dealing with guys who say specifically, I'm just chilling when you approach them.
Yeah, because that happens a lot.
It's like that exact phrase.
That means they gonna spend money or not?
Yes.
Exactly.
Right. And like vast majority of the time that means they're trying to like not spend any money, waste your time. So you can just run away, as I've been doing, or you can like dig into it and be like, oh, perfect. You know, I was looking for someone to chill with me in the VIP room. Like, you just chill it.
Spin it on them.
Or you can, I'll get mean sometimes and I'll be like, don't you know that's not really allowed in here, just chilling, like look around, you know?
You're at a strip club.
So, yeah, a couple different directions you can go there, but like, as long as you find out quickly what they're actually trying to do, you're in good shape.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But yeah, a lot of conversations start with, can I sit and watch with you?
A great one. Because I feel like as a stripper, you don't realize how much men are intimidated by you, because especially a beginner, you feel like you're the one intimidated because you're a beginner and this is the new to you, and you're supposed to please these men and look like pretty enough for them to want to spend money on you, so you feel intimidated. But in reality, a lot of the men are intimidated by you, but they're showing this persona that they're not, so it's hard for you to like see that. But a lot of them really are, and they're scared to ask if you want a room or scared to do anything, and you have to be like that big like confident person to get them to open up to you.
It's not all the time, but a lot of guys like genuinely think you could potentially reject them if they ask to do a room with you.
Yeah,
so they'll be scared to ask.
Yeah, and they'll be scared.
Yeah.
So it's up to you to like, you know, be that confident person, and then be humorous like that, and just like joke around, like she said, like,
why didn't you just chill at home then?
Yeah.
You're here. You could have chilled at a regular bar. You know why you're here.
Another thing I wanted to touch base on when you're new and you are talking to customers is don't get upset when they don't tip you out, I think.
Yeah, I'm terrible about asking for tips. Like, I'm happy to accept, like after a dance, if they pay you more money, that's very nice.
Yeah.
But in the interest of like maintaining regular customers, like if I know that somebody comes there a lot, I might not ask them for a tip the first time or something like that. If I know it's like some scumbag in a bachelor party, super wasted, he's not even gonna freaking remember.
It's like, whatever.
It's like, would you like to tip me for that wonderful dance?
Right.
You know, like, that's fine. But yeah, some people, I mean, I have no sympathy for guys who get upset at dancers for doing their job and asking for money, because a lot of the job is just asking for money.
Yeah.
Like, or selling in general. Like, they have some nerve to be upset about that. So,
but
I say ask for the tip.
I've seen like a lot of women be upset at them because they don't tip, and not necessarily that they got mad, but they just don't want to tip.
Yeah, that's
and
not cool.
I know how you would get mad because you do want your tip because you're not naked for nothing. But at the same time, it doesn't really show them that next time they're going to want to tip you. And sometimes men actually do tip a lot, but they ran out of their money. And I've seen other girls get mad at them because they didn't tip. But I literally sat and watched how he ran out his money. And then now you got upset because he didn't tip you, but normally he would have tipped you. And now you just blew your whole shot on ever getting tipped with him. And I've seen it firsthand, where he ran out of all his ones that he got, you know, and he's about to leave, and you got mad because he didn't tip because he doesn't have any money, and now you blew your whole shot with him with getting any tips. So
yeah, it's cool.
Don't get mad at them when they don't tip you.
Right.
Like, just be modest about it and be like, oh, okay, well, I hope I can please you another time or whatever. you know?
I'm with you on that. Yeah, getting pissy about it is like, because especially, you know, some of these rooms are like $600 or something for a half hour or an hour or whatever. And I've, like, the other night, we just went through some corporate changes at our club, and it cost this guy $720 when it, like, for just for using a credit card. Like, some places have like crazy credit card fees. It was supposed to be $600, and it was $720. Just
Because he used a credit card.
yes, and
Oh my
granted,
God.
I'm supposed, like, the way it works, Millstream was different, where like the dancers handled their portion of the fee, which was bullshit. But at Penthouse, like, we just get half of the total.
Okay.
And they pay everything up front, and we don't have to do any of the negotiating.
That's amazing.
I know. Yeah, it really, like, depended on the manager for us at Millstream. Like, some of them would be like, oh, you two handle that. We'll just take the house fee portion and go have fun.
They don't care about anything else other than the house fee.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was not about to ask that guy. Like, after I had to, like, walk him all the way, like, we went upstairs to the room, and they told us to go downstairs to do the transaction, and then it ended up being $120 more than expected. Then we go back upstairs to do the room. It was, like, such a to-do. And then he was also, like, super easy, and I was like, I will just take my $300 and go about my day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I think we said, like, enough, or I think that we said everything that we're supposed to say with someone that's starting out the club and doesn't know what to say and doesn't know what to do or how to act. We gave some good pointers, so it was successful. I hope you guys learned anything from this video, and what is that word? Gravitated to it, and we helped you a little more about how to act or what to say starting the strip club if you're thinking about starting to work at the strip club, because we're not advocating, but we're there for you if you need any guidance or whatever. But thank you so much, JoJo, for being on this.
Inviting me.
On this video, you guys, I'm gonna put her, if you want, her socials in the bottom in the description below if you want to follow her on her socials. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, love.